Hey YouTube subscribers. Okay, so I said I was going to post a video tomorrow, but I'm going to have to do it today because I completely forgot that tomorrow is the 4th of July. So yes, I'm still here at the hospital. Like I said in my last video, we've been here a week. Hopefully being sent home tomorrow. But where I left off is leaving the military with my endometriosis. So, basically, after that, I got hooked up with an old boyfriend. And he cheated so many times. It was crazy. My last straw, it was on Christmas Day. I got a phone call from the girl that he was cheating with saying that she was pregnant. And it broke my heart. And then I bought a computer and I purchased internet. When I did that, I met my first husband, Brian. He came for my birthday and we left and went to Colombia. I didn't know it would be another year before I actually see my family again. But we left and I was happy. My mom, she paid my phone bill every month so I could stay in contact with everyone. And what made me stay, a lot of people say, well, what made you stay so long? Well, the first night he and I was together, he picked up his daughter by her pigtails and threw her across the room, and she hit the wall. I know a lot of people would be like, oh, you're stupid, you should have left, or you should have called the cops, whatever. I was young, dumb, and I wanted to protect her. So I stayed to protect her. Needless to say, maybe 4 or 5 months later, I did leave him. I went home to my mother, but he convinced me to come back. And I did. And, you know, I'm glad I did, but then I'm not. As I said, I wanted to protect her. I wanted to be there for her. So, a couple months down the line, I took very sick. I thought it was my endometriosis. I kept seeing my period. There was no problem. I just kept going, and then the throwing up, I thought it was the flu. So, I got some medications. And, of course, my soon ex-husband came home one day and I was passed out, a pool of blood, and rushed me to the hospital. And the doctor came in and he goes, you are 16 weeks pregnant and you're threatening a miscarriage. And I said, and you're a liar, because they said I can't have kids. But needless to say, he did an ultrasound, and there he was. So the boy, and I still did not believe it. And so, when I told Brian about it, he said that he didn't want to be with me because I was pregnant. He didn't want it. So, I still stuck around. We still battled it out. It was a constant war with him. My ex-stepdaughter, she attempted to push me down the stairs, but I don't think she meant to. I mean, she was just following behind her father. But later, I just when it came down to finding out the sex of the child, he goes, if it's not a girl, it's not mine. So I'm like, how could you say something like that to someone? So he did the ultrasound, and pretty much it was a boy. And he said, it's not mine. And I accepted it. And he was like, the only way that I would have this child unless I myself went back into the military. So I told him after I have the baby, I would go back into the military. And he said he would marry me. The whole entire pregnancy was cruelty hell. If I was not in pain from the child moving in my womb, I was in pain from the hurt that my husband caused. I spent every night in the closet crying. I had prayed so hard for this child. I asked God to give me this child. I asked for it to be a boy. And God gave it to me. And I prayed so hard for this. And I wanted a happy family. Needless to say, I got my boy. But I didn't get a happy family. So, the next couple months I spent in my closet, as I said, crying every night. He'd go to work and I'd think of ways how to get home. It wasn't a lot of physical abuse, but it was a lot of emotional and mental abuse. He would not come to bed at night. He spent every night in the computer room. But what I thought that he was chatting with his friends back home, he was on talking with a girl or watching porn. He wouldn't sleep with me. And it hurt. So one night he wound up with the flu. And I was laying on the floor rubbing my stomach because it was killing me. And he laid behind me and he put his hands on my stomach. And he just held me. And he kissed me so hard, like he hadn't kissed me since we first met. And when he got better, he went back to his old ways. So every night after that, I prayed for God to make him sick again. Make him very, very sick. So that he could be the guy that I fell in love with again. But it didn't happen. So it came round to close to having a baby. I was a high-risk pregnancy. I was not supposed to clean. I wasn't supposed to do anything but lay in the bed. But he insisted that I clean the house. I vacuumed the floor 3 times a day. He insisted that I exercise. I worked more at home than I did anywhere. So, of course, one night, I went into labor. They sent me home after giving me a shot, which the doctor said not to. But they sent me home anyway. So, when the last night of giving birth, I went into labor. And he was on the phone with who I thought was his friend Chris. So I went to the bathroom and I peed. And he tells the person on the phone that it's probably just another false labor. She's going to get a shot and they're going to send her home. And I yelled through the bathroom door. I said, I think this is it because I lost my mucus plug. So we get in the car. We didn't grab the diaper bag, car seat, or anything because he thought it was a false labor. So we get in the car and I tell him to pull over. I have to throw up. He's still on the phone with whoever. Like I said, I thought it was Chris, so I'm going to say Chris. So he pulls over. I told him, I said, I have to throw up, pull over. So he tells Chris, man, I gotta pull over. She's gonna throw up. So we pull over and I start throwing up and then my water breaks. And I said, oh my God, my water just broke. He goes, dude, I gotta get off the phone. Her water just broke. And I'm like, are you serious right now? So we get in the car. Well, I get back in the car after throwing up. And of course, my water is just gushing all over the seat, all over the floor. And he turns to me and he goes, you're going to clean that up. And I'm like, really? So we get to the hospital and they take me upstairs. The doctor goes, oh, she's only dilated 2 centimeters. And he goes home. So my mom shows up just in the nick of time and I needed to push. And found out I was allergic to the epidural. So, of course, I couldn't have it. So I start pushing and my mom catches. By the time his feet fell out, the doctor was coming in. And the doctor looks to Brian and he goes, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? And he goes, no. And my mom says, I'll do it. And she cuts it. They weighed him. He weighed in at 6 pounds, 6 ounces. And he was 6 weeks premature. But he was the healthiest, biggest premature baby they'd ever seen. Which gave me hope. Because living with his father, I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to let go. I did not want to be there. But having my son gave me so much hope and so much joy. And, I mean, I didn't want my mother to leave. I wanted her to take me with her. But she left. And, of course, that night, we were in the hospital bed. He goes out and he goes to get something to eat. And he doesn't bring me anything. And I wanted him to hold his son. But he didn't hold his son till he got on the phone with Chris to take a picture and send it to him. Which I later found out that Chris was Jen. And for years I blamed her for ruining my marriage, but God had given me so many signs that that was not for me. He was not for me. And on my next video, I'll let you guys know the aftermath of everything after the birth and everything. So I'd show you my son, but I have to show him later. He's a little preoccupied, so I probably have